So for or against austerity/conditionality?
Against.
Quantitative easing?
For. Because it's what kept the Eurozone alive for the past 5 years, and because we will need it for the next decade.
Reform of the EMU?
Well, it depends on how you would reform it, but as a matter of principle, in favor, because the EMU needs reforming.
Budgetary capacity of the EU?
Well, again, it depends on how it would be structured, but as a matter of principle, in favor, because it's what the European Union, the Eurozone need to advance further along the path of European integration and European solidarity.
Helicopter model?
Actually, against. Because I think it raises a lot of good question from an economic perspective, and I think that a more tailored and targeted reaction could be more efficient, and at least with less downside effects.
Eurobond?
In favor, because I don't see any reason why we wouldn't use the European credibility and the European strength to finance the Eurozone and the EU's future.
Enhanced public scrutiny of ECB's role in financial aid and QE?
In favor, because the ECB is no longer the same institution as it used to be a decade ago. It needs to be subject to stronger public scrutiny and more serious accountability.
Cordon sanitaire?
Against, because I think that it's lost its purpose, and we would actually be able to combat extremes and populist movements much efficiently without the cordon sanitaire than with it.
Bundesverfassungsgericht vice judgment?
Because it's a much needed wake-up call for the practical solution that it offers against.
Social impact assessments?
Very much in favor of it, because economic analysis and fiscal analysis must also be complemented by serious social analysis.
Financial assistance in the form of grants?
In favor, but upon the condition that it's smartly and efficiently structured and organized.
Financial assistance in the form of loans?
Again, in favor, as long as it's done in a manner which preserves national autonomy and in a manner which does not impose too much policy conditions on member states.
Green ECB?
Well, again, in favor, because I think that the firepower of central banks all across the world should be used to contribute to the further greening of our economy and to our action against climate change.
EU fiscal reform?
Again, it depends on what you mean by that. But if we're talking about endowing the EU with stronger fiscal capacity, if we're talking about revisiting some of the paradigms that have shaped economic policy in Europe over the past 2 decades, then I'm very much in favor of it.
More financial regulation?
I'm not a huge expert of financial and banking law. I have the feeling that we've now actually reached a point where the banking and financial sector is already very strongly regulated. So yeah, as a non-expert, I would say that it's probably not the most pressing issue.
An emergency clause in the treaties?
Again, I think that as the EU becomes a more and more relevant public actor, it might need, as member states have it, some of these procedures. But again, it depends on how you would structure it and how you would make sure that public scrutiny can be continued in spite of the activation of such an emergency clause.